Two, one.
Good morning, Facebook. How is everybody doing? This is Khalid. Obviously, you know who I am. So I'm back. Next little episode of Rise Up the Show, and today I got my good friend Alex Povey. Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, my brother. Doing very well. Just said that I just got the facial cut for the show.
I see that, man.
Feeling fresh. Feeling fresh. You respect the beard game, right?
I do. You got to respect the beer game. I need to get mine all nice and looking like yours. So I'll do that later today.
Awesome, bro.
Well, hey, man. Hey, thanks for coming on the show. And I wanna kick things off with some rapid fire questions. Just some quick little
Pressure.
yeah, man. Pressure
Straight out the gate. Turn on the pressure gate.
Hey, man. We got to get the audience to know, like, and love you. So we're gonna kick things off with where did you grow up?
I grew up in Wales, North Wales.
Okay. Is that where you live now?
No, I moved from Wales to Dubai, and then I moved to Sheffield. Then I moved to Manchester.
So you like to move around a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a gypsy for everyone listening, but
you're a nomad.
Yeah, I traveled a lot, and I needed to escape North Wales because I was just hanging around with the wrong crowd, going the wrong way. I was like, where can I go that's like away from this scene, like the drug scene, the scene that I was in? I'll go to the Middle East. It's pretty strict over there. Let's go to Dubai. So I moved to Dubai, and that was kind of why I moved. Yeah.
I love it, man. What's one of your favorite books?
One of my favorite books, Relentless, Tim Grover. Just finished it. So, which is talking about coaching MJ and the late Kobe, who just passed. Amazing book. If you want to learn more about Kobe, you can find it inside that book, which is awesome. Can I throw in another one?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Another one that I really love is Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Holtz, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Which is a super interesting book when it comes to mindset. Probably one of the best in the world, I would say so.
Have you read the book Mindset as well?
No.
That's a good book too. Yeah, it kind of
just mindset.
It's just called Mindset. I forget who the author was, but if anyone knows, drop it in the comments. I can't remember the author, but it's a great book on fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And it was definitely a game changer when I read it. So you mentioned Psycho-Cybernetics. So yeah, Mindset's another one. What do you?
I like these questions. These are good. I like this style. It's good.
On the spot, bro. There's no written down questions. So we're just kind of doing this thing. What are you most challenged with today?
I didn't start today with a plan. So usually I have like a power list of 5 things that I tackle. But I didn't put them in place today. I was just like, I'm just going to go into the day and just do things. So I came in, started pretty late, went and got my hair done, my beard done. Then I just found myself just like not really focused on anything. And I was just doing bits and kind of like, as you say, like struggle with or find difficult. Yeah, to a degree, I kind of engineered the down day where I was just like, hey, I'll just be a bit flexible myself because I'll work tomorrow and I'll probably put a shift in on Sunday as well because I'm like a workaholic. So do you know what I mean? If I lose a day in the middle of the week, that's cool because I'm generally doing stuff on the weekends. But I've realized if I don't have a plan, I don't get a lot done.
That's tough. Yeah, no, for sure.
If I don't have a plan, I don't get a lot done.
Yeah. No, well, definitely. There's a couple things I want to touch back on that you're bringing up really, really good points that I want to make sure we talk about. What's one of your favorite quotes?
Favorite quotes? That's good. Complexity is the enemy of action.
Ooh, that's a good one. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I feel like I coined it myself.
Better coin it. Trademark
it. No, I'm pretty sure that maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but I don't feel like it came from anyone because I always say it to myself and I say it to my clients. And like complexity is the enemy of action. I've always tried to build like my products as simple as possible to maximize results because no one likes to tackle anything that's complicated, right? No one does. Doesn't matter how smart you are. You don't like complex things. You want to keep them simple. So yeah, that's always kind of stuck with me and something I've almost like fed to myself as my own food over and over again until I drilled it into my head.
I like it, man. That's a really good quote. I'm going to have to write that one down. what is one of your, and it's more so looking at like your greatest achievement, but like what's been one of your greatest achievements?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for me, one of my greatest achievements was some of the charity work that I did last year, because even though it wasn't on a huge scale, I'd never really done anything like that before. I was very self-driven about me making money, my company making money, my employees making money, and clients, and it was very like internal based. Whereas last year, my business partner invited me on a trip to the Philippines. So we went out to the Philippines with a company, a Canadian charity actually called Habitat for Humanity. You may have heard of it.
I have, yeah.
Amazing organization. And we went to the Philippines for about 2 weeks, and we basically got in the trenches and building homes, like mixing concrete in the 40-degree heat, right? In the 40-degree heat, building homes, mixing concrete, shoveling things, and just grinding it out with the locals for like a week solid. And it was probably the most fulfilling thing I've ever done, and probably one of the best achievements, because it wasn't about me.
I love it.
It was just game changing, because we're going out again in April to Nepal to do another build, and now that's become kind of part of my philanthropy, that I'm always trying to give back into either Habitat for Humanity or, as you know, the mental health charity Mental, which I support to raise mental health awareness. So yeah, that's one of my big achievements. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Last question: what are you grateful for today?
What am I great? Do you know what? I woke up this morning and I was like, fuck, it's so nice to not have anyone tell me what to do and just like do things on my terms. I can wake up, I can peacefully do my breath work, my meditation, my visualization, think about my future. I can take my time having my breakfast, enjoying it. I can come into my office when I please.
Yeah.
I can go and get a haircut when I please. I can go for steak with my business partner tonight, where I want, wherever I want. It's kind of like I just feel lucky to be able to do things on my own agenda and just have freedom. And then I thought about it and I was like, what do I enjoy most? And I was like, I enjoy what I do, my work. Do you know what I mean? Like coming in and like creating content, doing shows, having chats. I've done another podcast this morning with an awesome coach. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm engineering all this and I'm loving it and I'm enjoying it. And freedom's not necessarily just about money, about having money. It's about like freedom to like do the thing you want on a day-to-day basis. And I don't feel like I'm working at all, really. I just feel like I'm living, and it's all just all just rolls into one. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but I think that's what we're all trying to get to, really.
For sure, absolutely, man. I think it's that flow, right? Like the flow is so your energy is such at a high level that what you do doesn't feel as like work. Like you said, it feels like it's just what I'm meant to do, and it's in the flow that I'm in, that I'm making these connections. I'm loving what I do. Business isn't dragging and things are good. And it's in that freedom, right? And I think it's one of those conversations we always talk about. It's that the end goal for anyone watching or listening when it comes to business isn't the freedom that money gives you. It's creating the business to create the freedom so you can go to steak with a partner or get the haircut whenever you want or go on vacation whenever you want. And I think freedom sometimes gets tied into money. And it's really that's such a small portion of it on the grander scale of things.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, stuff happened today that sucked. A call that I had with a potential prospect, he cancelled. Another guy that I thought was going to go ahead is delayed, needs a bit more nurturing time and attention. Another guy that I got on a phone call with that I thought was like a really good fit for what we do, I ruled him out in 10 minutes. And it's just like things that I thought were lined up that were going to be coming into the business revenue wise.
Yeah.
Not the case, right? Yep. But I don't give a shit. I bounce back within seconds. I'm like, cool, I'll just rack up some more people into the pipeline. These are just not ready yet. Whereas a lot of people can get bummed out about that stuff. Whereas I don't get hung up on all these outcomes all the time. about the sales and the closing and the revenue. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm going to stick to my process that I know that works. And just because today everything folded and it didn't go according to how I wanted it specifically, I'm like, that's cool. I can recreate that again on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week and create new opportunities that might not seem as good, but then they do like turn into what I want them to turn into. So it goes both ways. And I'm just delusionally optimistic. So I've got delusional optimism, right? Not where I'm like insane or like mentally ill, but I'm just like, yeah, it's going to be sweet. But because I put in the work to make sure it's going to be sweet. I don't just like sit in a room like with my legs crossed and just like, yeah, like a check's going to land in the mail like this law of attraction bullshit. I believe in the law of attraction, but I believe in the law of action.
I love it. I love it. I need to quote you on these things, man. You're going to come up with some good stuff today.
That was one on the fly.
That was a good one.
You like that?
I do. I want to touch base on two things you mentioned, and I think it's important that we talk about them because I feel like we get caught up in. I had an appointment, they didn't show up, they canceled, and all of a sudden, like the rest of the day goes to shit because of that one little moment, right? And then on the other side of it is, I had an appointment, and within 10 minutes, I knew they weren't a good fit, and we ended it right there. And I'm not chasing clients for the sake of chasing clients, but I want to work with the right people. So let's touch on both points, starting with that first one of how did you handle, I had an appointment, the guy just wasn't ready, so he wasn't ready to take action. How do you work through that? So like, you don't look at yourself, because I feel like sometimes when that happens, a lot of trainers, gym owners, not even just odd business owners, right? Entrepreneurs, they tend to look at themselves and say, okay, like something's wrong with me, when in reality, like there's nothing wrong with you. This person just was not ready. What's your process? Like, how do you work through that?
Yeah, I used to struggle, and that's a great question, by the way. I used to struggle for a long time with getting emotional about scenarios, situations, prospects, sales. I've been in the sales game for a long time. So I've been on this roller coaster. And I think over time you get not used to it, but you learn how to cope and figure out like some strategy to survive in such a unpredictable space, because you're dealing with human beings which are very unpredictable, right? They cannot show up, they cannot pay, they cannot go ahead, there could be a bad fit, they may not do the work. There's a lot of variables for things to go wrong, just like anything, I guess, in life. Yep. But one of the philosophies that I teach my clients, the coaches that I work with, and something that I do myself, because I only teach what I do. I don't tell people to do one thing and do something else myself. I have the highest charged and invested, because if you do get emotionally invested and it goes the right way, awesome. Like you feel elated, you feel great, you celebrate. But on the flip side, if you get emotionally charged and invested and it doesn't go the right way, you fall pretty hard. And you're like, damn it. So I don't want either. I just want to stick to I enjoy the process more than the outcome. So I don't care about feeling great when it comes in. I'm just like following my process, and I'll be like, yeah, cool, it came in. If it didn't, no sweat, because I'm not super emotionally involved. And if you saw me on a call with a prospect, you'll think I'm almost like dead, but speaking at the same time, because I'm so emotionless. I can show empathy and I can be like really engaged, but I'll get to a point where I'm just like removing myself emotionally from these situations, because then I can see clearly and I can act in a definitive and in a strategic way. And then I just look at data, I look at the scenario strategy, and I just dissect it and go, could I have done anything differently? Or if I get an email, do you know when you send out a proposal and you get an email back, you send out like the final proposal, or you finish the call and you've got to follow up, and then you get a massive email with all the questions. Oh, before we go ahead, what about this, and this? I'm just like, okay, person needs more clarity. Yeah. And I'll get a second pair of eyes in it if it's complex, and I'll get one of my business partners to look at it and go, I'm about to handle this situation like this. What's your take? They're like, yeah, sounds good. Hop on a call, and then I'll just go through it with the client. So I'm just systematic and unemotional. So that answers your first question, right?
Yep. Were there some things, because you mentioned you weren't that way at the beginning, right? You were very emotional. So for someone watching, listening, who's in that same, like they're emotionally attached to the outcome, how does someone remove themselves from emotionally being attached to the outcome?
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, right? I think it's harder when you're broke.
Yeah.
Because it means more to you, right?
Of course.
So we've got to take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, and it's all dependent on where you're at in your business, right? So once you get some level of success and you've got like everything pretty much taken care of, you've got a good base level, like the revenue becomes less important. It's just extra numbers, isn't it? Effectively. But I'll be honest with you, I think where I struggled before is because I was a child. Even though I was 25, 26, I was still like reacting like a child to things. I wasn't grown up. And I think I've been on a journey of a lot of like self-discovery, understanding myself, knowing my worth, knowing my capability, what I can do. And I've just like reaffirmed to myself that like my processes and the things I do work. Just because you have a bad week or a month that's not a record month doesn't mean that you're broken. You could like improve stuff, but I'm just getting less attached to things. I think maybe as well, I've noticed I'm getting really good at it recently because I'm doing a lot more, I wouldn't say spiritual, but like I do a lot of breath work now and a lot of meditation, which is learning to control the mind and disconnect from like emotions, because emotions are kind of fears of the future. Like what could happen? What about this? What about rejection or regrets from the past? Like things that have happened, or I wish I'd have done that, or all these things that are like either behind you or in front of you. But then meditation is about now, like in the moment. None of those things exist in the moment, because when you go to a deep meditative state, you go to nothing. I experience nothing.
It's tough though, man, because it's like, and I don't know if you had this at the beginning, but it's hard to get my brain to quiet down when I start getting into meditation. Like maybe like I'm good for about 10 minutes, and I don't know if you've experienced it, but like 10, 15 minutes, I'm good. And then at that 15-minute mark, all of a sudden just thoughts start rambling through my. All right, share some tips.
I've got some tips. Again, like everyone's different. What works for one person doesn't work for everyone. But I've tried a lot of stuff because I know the benefits of it. A lot of people that I look up to, a lot of people that I respect, do it. And so I always wanted to try and master it. I spent years myself downloading Headspace, mindfulness, all the classic apps. I didn't really like the apps because it was like tech. When you're trying to like switch off from the world, you're still attached to the tech. So it's like, it's almost like an oxymoron. Do you know what I mean? It didn't make sense to me. So I was like, okay, I couldn't really figure it out that way. And then a podcast guest came on my show, and he was talking about meditation. He's extremely successful, doing really well. And he set me a challenge to do it for 30 days, 5 minutes a day. And basically what I did was I stuck to a promise to do it every single day for 30 days, and kind of like Atomic Habits, if you've read that. I just compounded the habit over and over again until it became a standard and something that I could do like consistently. So it's kind of like going to the gym. Like you can't just go to the gym 5 times a week if you've never been to the gym before. You'd kill yourself. You'd die. You'd be like, this is dog shit. I'm quitting. And it's the same with meditation. You've got to start small, but you've got to keep those promises to yourself and learn to use. I feel like it's almost like a muscle or like a skill as well that you've got to learn to flex. So that was phase 1. But the big breakthrough, and this is the kicker, which I've found works extremely well, and this is how I meditate at the moment. I do very deep breathing, okay, through the mouth. And this is something that I learned from my coach. So I've got a breathwork and meditation coach. I'm actually seeing him tomorrow for a 4-hour ceremony.
Oh, wow.
Where we're going to drink cacao, which is from the coca plant. Yeah. And that triggers the pineal gland, I believe, and can release DMT. And you can naturally start producing some of the effects that you'd experience with like LSD or psychedelics or ayahuasca, all like natural. But part of that process is deep meditation and breath work. So he comes to my office and does breath work with me every other Wednesday, but also for like 45 minutes. But also I go to like a shipping container that he has, and we do like with a group of people, we do like a 2-hour breathwork exercise. And now I'm stepping up and I'm doing the 4-hour one on a full moon tomorrow night. But each time that I've done the breath work, I've learned to like use it as a tool, as a mechanism to create silence. Because when you're focusing on breath, it's hard to think.
Yeah.
Because you're not thinking day to day when you're breathing. You're just breathing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like now we're breathing just because it's just like a subconscious action, kind of like driving a car once you've been doing it for a long time. But when you focus on driving a car aggressively around corners and cranking the speed, there's more alertness into it, and you're dialed into the driving, right? There's focus. It's the same thing when you start breathing heavily through your mouth, back through your mouth. You're oxygenating the body, and then you're restricting the oxygen, and all you can focus on is like the breathing, and so you block out everything else. And then you can have moments where you just stop breathing, and then it's just nothing because you're like, "Ooh, I'm just enjoying the silence."
Yeah.
So I use the breathing, and I won't do it now because it'll probably like blow this thing up. But I just go, I'll do it lightly. I'll go, but really aggressively.
Okay.
That over and over again. I'll do like 10 breaths and then hold a breath, and then 15, then hold a breath, and that gets me into the flow. Now, here's the thing: the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then you get addicted to nothing. This sounds really weird. I'm addicted to, I wouldn't say I'm addicted yet, but I hit nothing last week. And what I mean by nothing, I went to a place where there was nothing there. Nothing, it was black, nothing existed. And it felt like the most amazing thing I've experienced. It was just like silence in my head. And my eyes were closed, and I thought I was asleep, but I wasn't. I was fully conscious. And I was like, this is what nothing feels like, and it feels good. And it's kind of like weird because now I'm chasing nothing.
Yeah. I gotta try this. All right,
like I'm chasing nothing. And people are like, what do you mean you're chasing nothing? I'm like, I'm trying to experience like complete like silence and darkness like in my mind, because when you get to that point, and this might sound a bit trippy for anyone listening, it's like you're fully conscious in the moment. There's no future, there's no past, and there's none of those worries, and they disappear, and you're just like, wow, I just feel amazing. And then off the back of that session, I'm just like giggling and laughing and just feeling like super, super happy and grateful. And yeah, I'm exploring a lot more of that this year to elevate my mind and my business, my bank account, my clients' accounts, because I'm operating at a new level of like awareness and enlightenment that not a lot of people are tapping into. And I thought it was woo-woo and spiritual and hippie-like, and I'm not that type of person, but I'm going more down that route with the capitalist mindset of growth.
I love it, man. I'm intrigued because at what point did that level of awareness come to fruition to say, okay, I'm missing something and I need to start trying to figure out what that is that I'm missing? And it's self, right? Within inner self, I'm missing something. It's not an external thing. Where did that start? Like, where did that journey begin for you?
Yeah, this is super interesting, and I reflected on it because my reflection's gotten way better since I've been meditating, because my self-awareness has been elevated, and I journal a lot. But it was on the Habitat trip actually in the Philippines. I was surrounded by my business partner Dave, a lot of his clients, and they seemed a bit more enlightened than me. And I was like, what have these guys got that makes them speak and act and have all this like gratitude and almost like this thing that I don't have? They had it. And I was trying to put my finger on what they've got that I don't. Do you know what I mean? When you just like speak to someone, you're like, just something about them that they're just like super chill, very, very just like comfortable with themselves and their own skin, very clear-headed, kind, like there's nothing bad about them. There's no negativity. I'm like, how do these people exist? I've not met these people before. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like so pure. And I was like, and they told me that they were, I found out that they're very religious. Okay. So they believe in God, but there weren't people that like put God on you. And I was like, interesting. And then me and my other business partner, Dave from the UK, we were like, maybe we need to explore this God thing because I want to be like that. And I don't care what it takes to get there. I'll do, if I've got to be religious, I'll be religious. I don't give a shit because I want what they have.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, I was about to explore it, but again, it still wasn't sitting right with me. Like it wasn't sitting right with me, this God thing. I was like, I couldn't wrap my head around the concept of like a figure in the Bible and all this stuff. And it wasn't really resonating hard enough with me. And so from there, I was aware that I needed something else, but I wasn't sure what it was. And then I came across quantum physics.
Okay.
Again. Because we spoke about this, didn't we?
We did.
We spoke about quantum, and I'm finding a lot more quantum people these days because my reticular activating system is looking from right. The RAS is tuned into the quantum peeps. But I watched this podcast and I was listening to this guy and he was talking about quantum theory and law of attraction, along with law of action, creates quantum possibilities. And I was like, "Ooh, this is super interesting." So I started getting into quantum, and then the quantum is all about visualization and seeing things as if they're real, and then taking the actions to get there. And it's just a case of time hasn't caught up yet. Mm-hmm. If you think about it clearly enough, kind of like psycho-cybernetics, right? Which we spoke about at the start. Then I was like, I'm open to more things. I want to try more things. Then when I did the breath work, and I came off the first breath work session with this insane clarity for my quantum visions that I was like, this is cool. If I combine the deep meditation and breath work with the quantum visualization, I can actually see the quantum visualizations better because I'm getting rid of all the noise.
Yep.
I think of it like, going back to the God thing, do you know, I think it's God. I don't know. Jesus. I'm not religious. So do you know when he stands in front of the water and it parts?
Yeah.
Is that Jesus? Is that Moses? This shows you how much I know about religion. I'm going to get slated on this podcast by anyone that's religious. You should know this is basic knowledge, not if you don't follow religion. But I imagine like the breath work, like Moses parting the water, the breath work and the meditation.
Yep.
Then my is like a clear path to my visualization through quantum. So I can see it clearly and I can lock in and go for it. So that's why I'm getting more into it, because it's almost like I'm turning into Moses to see what I want clearly without all this water in the way, which is the noise, the tech, the messages, the clients, the notifications, the DMs. That is noise that's blocking your frequency of what you actually want in life. And I know what I want. And I'm always trying to get rid of the things that are in the way of what I want in terms of the noise so I can hone in on it and get it. And the breath work and the spiritual stuff and the meditation is allowing that to work faster. So I'm like, I need to double down deep into breath work and meditation to get to my quantum possibilities quicker. So does that answer your question?
It does, man. I love it. We're definitely going down an interesting rabbit hole with this. I love it though. What you got the vision, right? You got the breath work, you got the vision, you see the path, and now the action, right? Because there's going to be hurdles along the way on that path, because it's not just a straight line to that path. How does one, as you face those hurdles, how do you not differ from the vision because of the hurdles you're coming up against?
Yeah, that's a great question. Number one is I invest in people that are already got the quantum possibilities that I'm going for, right? So the things that I want or the things I want to achieve, I track down the people that are already there and I go, show me what you're doing. I want to see the steps. I want to see the obstacles that you've crushed. Show me the way. Here's 10 G's. I want to see it. Man, that's what I do.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah, I just drop money on collapsing time between me and where I'm trying to get to. I'll find the best mentor, the best coach, the best specialist. Like, that's why I've got a breathwork fucking coach. Because I'm like, I need to master breathwork to create the mechanism for the quantum. Yep. Then I'm studying quantum. I'll probably find someone in the quantum space to help me with that. But then I'm investing in mentors and coaches and consultants to give me the roadmap for me to figure it out versus trying to do it on my own and drowning in the sea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
Well,
know what I mean?
yeah. And I guess a part of that is how do you, for you, it's clear, right? You're like, here's where I want to go. Who's already doing it at the highest level? Let me invest 10K or however much to get to collapse time. But you have that growth mindset mentality, though, man. Like you're cut from a different cloth than most people that see it as it's 10 grand. I don't have the money to invest it, so I'm just gonna keep doing it on my own. How do you work with someone like that, or can you rewire that thinking?
Yeah, 100%. So you can definitely rewire it. We actually have like a rewiring funnel. So if someone comes in to buy something from us, they're going to go through a process that paradigm shifts their mind, because the common thinking is not designed for growth. You're designed to contribute to the rat race and fill the pockets of the wealthy people who are above you, right? So like everything is designed to keep you at a certain level. Like the traditional thinking, the media, everything is not pro growth.
No.
In most situations, otherwise everyone would be equally wealthy and being successful. But one of the things that I kind of explain is you've got to look at the opportunity cost of not investing. So what is it costing you not to invest? Because look at it this way. I could save 10K and figure it out on my own. But how long is it going to take me to figure it out? And have I got that much time? And do I want to use that time to try and figure it out? And then what is that going to cost me? So imagine I saved 10K and it took me 2 years to figure out what I could do in 2 months with the 10K. 2 years worth of revenue lost.
Yeah.
Frustration, struggle. Maybe I even give up along the way. Whereas if I invest 10K, by month 2 or 3, I'm probably making about 3 or 4K back a month on that investment. Compound that over the space of 2 years, which it would have taken me. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars
100%.
that I'm leaving on the table by protecting my little 10K.
Yeah.
So it's like you've got to level up your thinking, but also have some self-respect. Like you've got to respect your time. We've not got unlimited amount of time. Like look at Kobe that's just passed, man.
Yeah,
like
man.
He's in a chopper accident. Like anyone can go at any time. Like we've not got unlimited amount of time. I appreciate that. I've lost friends that are younger than me to suicide, or another friend just died about a month ago. Don't even know how he died. Like it's not confirmed yet.
Wow.
Like so people around my age are dying. So I'm like, fuck this 10K. Let's invest it fast. Let's get somewhere quick and enjoy that process and that journey versus like trying to be conservative all the time. Now, what I do is I make calculated risks, like I recommend everyone should make. Do your due diligence. Look where that money's going. Look at the track record of the company that you're working with or the coach or the mentor and make sure it's aligned with what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve. Like, don't be dumb and just like invest in anyone because there's people out there that won't get you results, who will promise you the world, who are just out to take your money. But I'm very ethical in my approach to everything. And I believe you get out what you put in. So if I run my business in an ethical way, I'll naturally gravitate to those same people anyway. I'll find them in the world.
For sure.
And so my bets are pretty safe because I'm like, I'm only going to attract the people that resonate with me and the way I live my life. Most of the time. Sometimes you're going to get it wrong. I'm going to make some errors. I made an error a couple of years ago. I invested in a social media agency, spent like thousands and thousands of dollars, burnt the shit out of us, got us no clients, no leads. And so I was like, fuck this shit. I'll build a better agency. And we built a better agency that delivered an amazing service to our clients and made sure that we never got treated, our clients never got treated the same way. And that's turned into a successful social media business. So off the back of getting burned, getting fired by some other person.
Well,
so,
I think, and you mentioned it earlier, is at the early part of this conversation, the environment. And man, like you moved from where you were because of the environment and to get out of that environment. And it's so clear in business too, man. Like the people you surround with, the other business owners that you surround yourself with, like that environment, it plays such a big key on your mental state and on your success. Can you talk about that a little bit, as far as just how important environment is for the success of not just you as the person, but as your business as well?
Yeah, definitely, man. And you alluded to me being cut from a different cloth. I would challenge that and say, no, I'm not. Because if you knew my previous like life or like upbringing, I would say I was like always like aspiring for more. I always knew that I was going to be a millionaire. Like when I was, not always, but from the age of probably 15, 16, I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire. And I just knew it. I just knew I was going to be a millionaire. And I started acting that way. So I started reading the books, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, How to Win Friends and Influence People. However, at the same time, I was smoking copious amounts of weed, taking copious amounts of drugs, right? And I was going down a path that is not aligned with a millionaire's behavior, right? Because I hadn't achieved any success at that point. So I was like, I want to be in this certain place, but my behaviors are not congruent. Yes, I'm reading all the books, but I'm just consuming, almost like the law of attraction without the law of action, right? My actions were I was smoking weed and doing other stuff and not getting very good grades. And so I was like, what do I need to do here to change this radically and fast? I was like, I can't just like dip my toe out of this. I've got to sever this. Got to take out a samurai sword, and I've just got to cut the umbilical cord from this situation and this group, this environment. All my friends, everyone I ever knew, grew up with. I was like, right, it's time to disconnect. And I think it was 18 years old. I remember my mum driving me to the airport with a one-way ticket to Dubai, and I was like, I'm going to change my environment and I'm going to go to a place where I can't do all this stuff that I'm doing because it's just not possible there. I'll go to prison. And I moved to Dubai, changed my environment. And that kind of started my journey into developing myself and getting around the right people. So the first step, I don't know if it was the best move, but I went to university. Okay. And I never wanted to go to university. I blew all my university fund that my mum gave me on a car and a pair of like turntables because I was a DJ. Yeah. I was a DJ for 10 years actually. Played in clubs, was on the radio, stuff like that. I went to uni and I was like, right, I'm going to do something good. So I got terrible grades. I begged my way into university. Had to spend an extra 2 years in university because I didn't have the grades to get in. Smashed university, and I set a goal to be the #1 student in the whole university, and lo and behold, I managed to achieve that. Got the highest grade out of everyone, got an award, and beat everyone in 2 competing universities for the same course. And this is a guy who is like smoking weed, doing shit at school, getting like D's, C's, and E's on my test papers, so like mediocre at best, borderline failure, to them being a top student, not because I'm smart, just because I took action and worked. I believe in work ethic. And so I surrounded myself with the right people. Then from there, I kept that journey of how do I level up my people that I'm with that are going to contribute to my growth and my development, and just get around bigger performers, highest CEOs, directors, people that are where I want to be. And then the same when I got into growing my businesses, who can I tap into that has the path that I want, that has the manual? How can I pay to get around these people? And I've done a bit more culling this year. So every year I cull. This sounds savage, but I don't give a shit. I have to cull, network. So because I'm becoming a different person every year, right? Hopefully a better version for like my clients, my charities, the people that I love, but I'm outgrowing people. And I'm not saying this from a place. Yeah, I'm not saying this from a place of like, hey, I'm like better or I'm more prestigious. It's not coming from an egotistical way. It's like I'm on a mission to do certain things in this world. I have to be mindful of who I spend time with, because that's having a direct impact on my mindset and my ability to move quicker. right? Because I want to spend my time wisely in places where I can either learn, contribute, grow, not just be there for the sake of being there because it's comfortable.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So,
Yeah.
and that's difficult sometimes. It's just like outgrowing, but I've just learned to get a bit more comfortable with that, and just like moving on and just keep up leveling and getting around more and more higher level people.
And it's important, man. I think we all went through. I've gone through that same journey. I mean, a few years back when I was living in California, same thing, man. I was around a group of friends that all we did was party and drink and drugs, and man, there was nights I didn't get home till we'd go out on a Friday night. I wouldn't get home till Sunday night. Like, it was
good
bad.
Times.
It was good
times. I did that stuff. It was good. It was fun, and it served the purpose at that
it served
point.
the purpose for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I've met great memories. But it wasn't serving that higher level of who I wanted to be, and so those ties have to get cut. And I don't, and like, yeah, we fear, and I think it's normal for everyone. We fear growth because we don't want to leave people behind. But then you're stuck in that same environment and you're not growing. And at some point, we're all going to die at some point. And it's like, I don't want to be in bed regretting that I don't want to be in my deathbed regretting I didn't take the action on these things because I didn't want to leave people behind. I think it's just that's part of life, I guess, is you outgrow people.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like, it's not just about like growth and success. Like, it's no different to if you're like a big into gaming and like playing like Call of Duty, and then all of a sudden you like get big into football.
Yeah.
You naturally start hanging around with more football playing people.
Yep.
Because that's like where your interests lie. It's not about growth all the time. It's just about what am I interested in. Now I'm like very big into quantum, or I'm big into breath work. These guys are not like heavy hitting CEOs and directors in that group of people, but they're like aligned with what I'm trying to like master or like figure out. That they are CEOs and directors of their world. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So it's like, it's not just growth, it's like interests as well.
Yeah.
That I'm just trying to like align the right interests with what I'm trying to do and achieve, sort of thing. Yeah.
And I think and those interests come about from you becoming more self-aware and getting clear on what it is that you need to take yourself to that next level, right? You start finding those people. So there's where those interests come about. And you mentioned businesses, and I don't know, we haven't really touched on it, but you mentioned you've got the social media agency that you do. What other business do you have?
So I've got a couple of things that I work on. So mainly is we've got our social media, which is like our bread and butter. So our agency run Facebook, Instagram ads, and some funnels in there as well, where we just run paid traffic. Then I also, for the last 2 years, have been working with one-to-one personal trainers to help them grow and scale their businesses. So a lot of them are missing like business, marketing, and sales skills because that's not taught in the level 2 and level 3 qualifications, certifications. So I come in and show them how to scale fast, gain a lot of clients, and be successful and fully booked, and then keep all those clients. But then a lot of those guys then like grow up and want to do more, want to go to the next level. So they're like, hey, like, how do I go online, right? Which is the common one now. Everyone wants to take their personal training business online. So late last year, I partnered up with another company who I've now become a partner in, which is the Online Trainers Federation. He's actually behind the Nepal trip as well with Habitat for Humanity, and we basically help people scale online coaching, personal training businesses through that business. So I've got my ads agency, we've got the one-to-one personal training mentoring, and then we've got the online trainers mentoring and coaching program to help people scale online. And so those are where all my interest lies, and they all kind of overlap each other because my agency specializes in fitness companies. So we run ads for coaches, fit pros, or people in that space. And so like this ads agency then helps people on the back end of the Online Trainers Federation who want to scale to like 15, 20. We've just got a coach who's a scale to 26K in January. Man. One offer and single-handedly one coach, just him.
Good for you, man.
Doing 26.
Yeah. Dang,
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it all overlaps into each other. So all fitness, all coaches, all personal trainer related marketing and sales.
Give me, my dogs are going a little wild.
He's going nutty.
Yeah.
Just a little time check. I've got to jump on a call in 5 minutes.
All right, let's do this. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Dogs are going nuts.
On the spot.
Adding a bit of ambiance to the to the podcast.
All right, we're back.
Cool. Cool. Yeah,
right, cool. There we go. Well, hey, I know you got to go, but I definitely want to. I want to do a part 2 because I think I want to talk the fitness business piece because I didn't and really kind of what you're doing there because I want to see kind of, you're in that space, I'm in that space, kind of where the industry's headed. Where do you see, as we move into 2020, what's like that next? And maybe you can share a little bit of it now before you go, but like, where do you see fitness moving to in the future? And like, what's the gym owner of the future need to know or have to be in a successful place?
I think like with the internet, everyone has access to choice and specialist solutions and product lines. So like offline one-to-one PT and PTs in gyms, they're generally working with general population people, right? Like what weight loss, muscle building, strength. They can service everyone because it's like in that demo, in that catchment. Whereas like with the internet, people are actively searching for specific solutions, like how to reduce blood sugar levels without cutting out carbs because they've got diabetes. And there's coaches online that we work with that offer those specialist skill sets.
Okay.
And so like there's a lot more freedom for people to choose things online. There's a lot more choice and there's a lot more specialists out there that you can get access to like very quickly through social media or through the internet, right? So I think I'm not going to say it's moving there, it's already there, but it's evolving and it's becoming a big business. And there's no surprise why every personal trainer who's been successful for a couple of years is now doing business coaching. Because everyone wants to go online and everyone wants to help them go online, and the market is moving heavily in that direction. Now, I'm not saying that one-to-one PT will never exist. Of course it will. Just like retail will still exist. People still like going into shops and buying clothes with their hands versus like going on to Shopify or going on to Amazon. Like there will always be a place for it, but it's just like the market is changing. The landscape is changing. You just got to be aware of like what's going on.
I love it. We'll definitely have to pick this conversation up in a part 2 podcast interview. Where can someone get a hold of you? We mentioned, now that we know what you do and the business that you have, where can someone reach out to find out more about the coaching, the agency, things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a couple of things. Number one is the podcast. So I've got a podcast that you are on, the Coaching Ignited podcast. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, every single platform on the planet, I believe. So go hit that. Go and hit subscribe on that. Go and follow it. If you're a coach or a personal trainer, you could mine that podcast for all the info in there and build a 6-figure company. Just off the back of the podcast. There's that much value in there. There's over 70 hours. I think it's about 80 hours worth of content that you get stuck into. I've been creating for over a year. Go check that out. It's a good place to start. Maybe we can chuck a link in somewhere. And then, just follow me on Instagram if you want, Alex C. Povey. So that's Povey, Alex C. Povey.
I love it, man. I'll make sure we link the podcast, the website, the Facebook, everything will get linked up for you.
Nice, man. We love the links.
We do. It makes it easier.
The backlinks.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, man.
This has been awesome.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you. I know you got to jump on a call, but thank you for coming on. And I promise we'll do a part 2 to spend more time on the fitness piece. But I wanted to really get into some of the mindset and the wellness piece that we talked about when we did our interview. But I appreciate you coming on, and man, I look forward to doing this again here real soon.
Yeah, man, this has been awesome. Really appreciate you and what you're doing. And this has been like really cool. Like I didn't expect it to go this way. I'd love to get the recording from you, so just bring it over to me. Yeah, this has been cool. Thanks, man.
All right, brother. All right, guys. I will see you next week for another episode. Say goodbye to Alex Povey, and we will see y'all soon. Take care.
See ya.